Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I know that this is a very deeply concerning time for many people, and this is what prompted me, prompted us to initiate this opportunity of writing letters and responding to them by a video. So, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Everyone's attention is on this period of the spread or the pandemic called coronavirus. Now, I don't want to be addressing what we should do at a medical level now, because I feel that we have all been given enough guidance from the governments, from the experts, from the caring staff, the many nurses, doctors, as I said before, and the care workers all over the world. So many wonderful beings have stepped forward at risk to their own health to help those who are in deep need. So thank you so much from our hearts. I feel I can speak for millions of beings throughout the world in saying gratitude to you, bless you, thank you with all our hearts. Today I'm going to read some of the letters that's been coming in, and I hope that they will serve somehow in whichever way that service is required, but to at least alleviate some of the burden of stress and worry and fear and so on that is equally as widespread, if not more, I would say far more, than the actual virus itself. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your letters. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for presence. And let's get started. Well, first of all, I have to say that a beautiful group of people have come together to look through the very many emails that were sent in, the letters that came, and they selected a number of letters that they felt would be good for me to look at. I have not looked through them. They're not organized, for me at least, in any particular order, so I'll just pick them up as we go. Okay, first one. First one, it says, I love you. Beautiful, beautiful start. I am with you, and you are with me in everything and nothing. I am a wave in your ocean. My prayer is to merge completely in I self and to get rid of arrogance and ignorance within this house. Thank you for everything. Love you, Mishko. Thank you. Well, first of all, I have to say that these letters were sent from us as an invitation, primarily not to the open space of YouTube, but to, first of all, to the subscribers and people who have been watching my videos over the years. Particularly, I felt that if we restrained the area to which we would invite people, and then it would make it more easy to address these letters. So what we will probably be hearing from are people who are more advanced in their journey of self-discovery, in their journey for the seeking of truth, the realization of the self, the discovery of the God self within. And so this is the first letter starting like this. So I go for it. It says, I love you. I am with you, and you are with me in everything and in nothing. I am a wave in your ocean. My prayer is to merge completely in I self. What it means, I self. Well, it really means to merge in the I source. The I self means to merge in one's own source, which is there before beginnings and endings, meaning to come home to one's God self, one's original nature. And that is the prayer that's been made by Mishko. My prayer is to merge completely in I self and to get rid of arrogance and ignorance within this house. Mishko is referring to the body as the house. I live inside the house. I am not the house. I am dwelling inside the house. Help me to be free from arrogance and ignorance. Very good. Ignorance is a serpent that's bitten every living being. Ignorance means to be unaware of what we are, of who we are in truth. We call that ignorance. Arrogance means to believe in oneself, in one's ego, in the false self, to be proud of it, to identify very strongly with it, and to take that to be oneself. So Mishko is asking, I wish to be free from arrogance and ignorance, from ignorance and arrogance, you see, so that I might merge in my original nature. It's a beautiful prayer, and bless you that your prayer will be fulfilled. I want to speak a little bit more about that. Rid me of arrogance and ignorance within this house. Arrogance and ignorance comes from the false self, from false identity. And as long as we, in fact, the sense I within us originally did not mean person, did not represent a person or a personal self. The sense I represented consciousness. It is I consciousness am. The sense I am, I consciousness am. And I refer to this consciousness as the child of the Absolute sometime. You may call it the Christ consciousness or the Shiva being, the Krishna consciousness. We can use many words for it. You can call it just the active consciousness. That manifests in the body as the feeling I, and this I uses the body in order to taste experiencing through the senses and through the mind also. So, but somehow, not being the ultimate truth, it gives rise to the belief of I am this person. Actually, there is no real person inside the body. What is inside the body and what we are in our active or dynamic state is consciousness. Okay? So when we are not clear about our true nature, we believe ourselves to be the body-mind construct or conditioning, which we call the ego. So the prayer here is to be free of arrogance and ignorance, I mean ignorance of my true self, and the arrogance of thinking I'm special and unique and I'm something special, and to merge, let myself be merged in my original nature, not be deluded by ego. So be it. Wonderful letter and request and prayer. Thank you. Let's try next one. Dear Mooji, our grandchildren, we took care of them for 5 years in our house. They live now with their parents. The parents are terrible, terrible. We have much pain in our hearts about this situation. We tried everything, Mooji. What is the best we can do for saving those children? Thank you and blessings, godparents. A very unusual letter, but one very much arising from somebody's heart. Again, dear Mooji, our grandchildren, we took care of them for 5 years in our own house. They now live with their parents, which obviously, I assume, is the children of the grandparents itself. Okay? The parents, who are the grandparents' children, the parents are terrible. Terrible. She emphasized twice. Terrible, or they emphasized twice. We have much pain in our heart about this situation. And obviously, it is clear that there is some disharmony there, some unhappiness is there. What to do about it, you see? We have tried everything. And Mooji, what is the best we can do for saving those children? You have already started by writing this letter. And naturally from my heart, I find myself already praying, willing for this situation, this environment to become more wholesome, healthy, harmonious, in the way that clearly the grandparents had this love for the children. We don't know why they were with grandparents in the first place. It happens, we know, in life. Sometimes the parents are not presently in a situation where they can cope, and they are fortunate enough to have their own mother and father that are willing to take care at least for their children, at least for some time. Now it's clear that you, the grandparents, enjoy having the children. You love them. You've done everything for them. But they have returned to their natural parents, to their immediate parents. And you say, these parents are terrible. I don't know in what way they are terrible. You say they are terrible, they're terrible. We have much pain in our hearts about this situation. Sometimes it is just like this in life. It can play like that the people that you care about, they themselves are now put in a very, very bad situation where they're sometimes abused. They are themselves unhappy and all of this, and you're watching and cannot do anything at all but just wish them well and pray, which is a good thing. And I naturally pray for them that the situation will heal. But I want to tell you something which may not be so easy for everybody to hear. Trust in God about this. We don't know by our own understanding why these things happen. I'll have to say that in my own case, so much of what I have gained or learned from life has come in a very painful way to myself. Suffering, hardship, painful ways, restricted, and I could give examples of this, of course, but you know, later I came to appreciate something. I appreciate so much because I've gone through these difficult times. And I've learned, I think the greatest lessons I've learned in life have come through painful experiences. Of course, you know, we would never ask for such things. If left to ourselves to ask for what we think is good for us, we would always choose the things that we enjoy. But God knows best. Sometimes we are given things that we will not enjoy immediately. They will be painful. They may even be intended to be painful, served by others. And as you can see, that even the parents themselves can be not good for their children on the surface. You know, they may not be capable of really being loving and kind and so on at the moment. But somehow in the greater picture, we pray that the children grow from this, as very often you know yourself that we often grow from difficult situations and challenges. I pray for these children that will be the outcome. And I don't want to say by outcome, it could be for another few years they have to live like this. It touches my heart. I cannot bear to think of it. But today, I put a prayer in. May these children and their parents also, and grandparents, come to find a greater harmony that really serves their lives onward from here. That, you know, miracles happen every day. I see it myself. And I'm open to see it because you know what? The miracles are happening anyway. But if you don't notice them, they don't happen. That's as far as you are concerned. Experientially, you will not see it. But miracles of every kind, of various kinds, are happening every day. Every day. What is miraculous for you is when you get the eyes to see that and to appreciate that. Okay? So all the very best to you. Clearly, you are good people with a great love and compassion to, at the time of your life, when for many people at your age, whatever that may be, often it is at a time when you can begin to enjoy more independence, more freedom to do things. You gave that to your grandchildren. And at least you have given them 5 years, I think you mentioned, of your love and joy. And they will continue to benefit from your love and joy even beyond your presence. What you have given those children with your love and your loving care, your compassion, your wisdom, is serving them even right now. So bless them, God bless you all. God bless their parents who clearly need a lot of blessing. Bless you all, and I wish the very best for you. Thank you very much. Dearest Mooji, in the depths of my own stillness, I have no fear of death, and so I have no fear of life either. How can I share this inner realization with family and friends who are panicked and consumed by anxiety and suffering during these moments? With much love, Laura. Again, dearest Mooji, in the depth of my own stillness, in the depth of my own stillness, I have no fear of death. When one is discovering or has discovered one's true nature, how fortunate, how blessed. You are discovering your true nature, not the ego nature, not the person's nature, but one's spiritual nature. And it is possible in life to discover your true nature. Laura is admitting, I have no fear of death, because she clearly sees what I am cannot die. That is not only a belief, that is a proof that only her heart and your heart can know once you have been graced to see this, either through your spiritual practice, through your faith in God, whatever, you have come to that certainty, that certitude, that what is, life cannot die. Death cannot live. Life cannot die. And also life takes care of life. You will discover this. And clearly, you see this is a letter from someone who is so much in their own spiritual journey of self-discovery. How can I share, though? How can I share this inner realization? The fact of myself. How can I share this inner realization with family and friends who are panicked and consumed by anxiety and suffering during these moments? Don't try to share it through words. Like, don't use those words. Don't tell them, look, I have no fear and I've realized my true nature. We don't need to say that. The one who is awake to the truth, without doing any research on others, they instinctively, intuitively, spontaneously know how to relate with others who may not be at that level of self-realization. And this is also one of the ways in which we know that here is a mature being, you see. They are not going to demonstrate and to show off their spiritual knowledge, first of all. So like this, you are the same way. How can you share this inner realization with family and friends? First, by being your own natural self. And these friends who are panicked and family who are panicked and consumed by anxiety and suffering, where did the anxiety and suffering come from? Well, primarily from not being aware of one's true nature. When you are aware, I don't mean mentally aware, but spiritually aware. You're livingly aware of what is, that which is true and that which is untrue. You know what is permanent and what is temporary. When you know this, fear will leave you. You will accept all things as the natural unfolding in the natural world. And you will know that what is, what you truly are, cannot die. When you don't know this, and you take yourself only to be your body, mind, and personality, or person, and its conditioning, of course, it is not enough. Maybe it is enough to enjoy life to a certain extent, but it is not enough to win that peace of mind and real happiness that comes when you are discovering the truth of who you are. So you ask the question, how can I share this inner realization with family and friends who are panicked and consumed by anxiety and suffering during these moments? Which moments are you speaking about? Let's take it that you're speaking about this present time when the news about coronavirus and how many people are dying and becoming sick in different countries is sure to cause panic, stress, strain and worry and fear in the minds of people who have not spent much time reflecting upon their own lives and their own true nature. Now, this is not to blame. In fact, I will tell you that so many people around the world are not panicked. They are not in fear. They have concern, of course, and they have care and compassion, both for all who are sick and even for the possibility that they themselves might become sick. That is perfectly understandable. But don't get that mixed up with the need to be afraid. Fear comes when we feel lost. We feel, I don't know what to do. I don't know what is going to happen. But the truth is, for most people, they don't know what's going to happen. They don't. Most of us just think we know what is going to happen and take some kind of momentary comfort from that. The world presently is plunged into a collective sense of a crisis. People are afraid for their lives. They're afraid, what are we going to eat? What's going to happen? I have no money, my money is running out. All these things we can be concerned about. But I want to tell you, all that happens in the world, from the greatest to the smallest things, are somehow held in God consciousness. It is not that everything is just falling apart and, we don't know what's going to happen, the world is going to end and all of this type of thing. Surely coronavirus is a spreading. It's being arrested in some place. But it is, for many people, a very threatening phenomenon right now. And it is understandable at the level at which we are used to news and information that people will feel panicked, and all of the things that we are hearing about will continue for a while. But I am here to share with you that there's no need to be afraid. Nothing can happen contrary to the will of God, the Supreme. Now, you may not be a religious person or a spiritual-minded person or a believer. That is fine. But I have to state from my place of seeing, no? And my understanding that everything is fine. Whatever is destined to happen will happen. Whatever is destined not to happen will not happen. And no one can change that. What I would like you to change is your attitude towards all of this. Everything is good. As I said before, we have been living for a very long time with a certain stained, or I would say contaminated mindset. Our mental and human culture is contaminated with very many wrong ideas. Our judgments of each other, the fears that come, the judgments, the fears, the anxiety, the pressures, the stress, the over concern, the hatred that's happening on the planet. And that is going on in regular life, dressed up to look like everything is fine. Everything is not fine. It has not been fine for a very long time. And so actually this present crisis, which is considered by so many people in the world as, oh, this is devastating. Actually the devastation started a long time ago. It's a devastation of our inner culture, of our opportunity to wake up to the truth of who we are. And the coming of coronavirus is quite a shock. It's quite a chance, actually, a shake-up to human beings, to wake up, shake up and wake up to the reality of what is being produced by our collective behavior and our collective ignorance. You see? It is not the punishment only, but it is as though life is releasing a certain amount of our karmic debt. And so we are experiencing a taste of how it really could become if it was really, really, really devastating. This warning wouldn't have come in this way. This warning has come for us to change. And you can say, but how? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Actually, change is already happening. Change is already happening as an outcome of the contamination that we have brought into our own human kingdom, and also the toxicness that we have pushed upon the earth itself, which is our physical mother, our mother in the sense that it takes care, it provides the food, it provides, the nature has provided so much to support human life. And we have not conducted ourselves well. We have abused Mother Earth in so many ways. But look what has happened since we have been confined to stay at home, confined to, in some way, give nature a break. We are seeing so many wonderful signs. The earth is recovering. The earth is recovering. Even confined as we are on our own land, we see so many wonderful things. We look up and see these beautiful ultramarine blue skies. The clouds look healthy and not contaminated where we are, at least we can say like that. The trees are flourishing. It's now spring here. The flowers are out, the animals are bouncing about, there are rabbits and around the place, butterflies. We're eating good organic food for those who are in search of that. Many things are, for me, they are celebrating life. They are the evidence of life, taking care of life. It is our turn also to detox from so many negative thoughts, so many negativity in our lives. And why? So that life can be refreshed, to press the refresh button again. So many things are going to change, and it's changing already, even for us, without having to get up and do and to change physically. We are compelled to change. And so I see this as also many wonderful things are going to come. Of course, many people will be in great sorrow because they would have lost some member of their family that they're not even able to attend the funeral and so on. Of course, I can understand the distress of that. None of us can say we are guaranteed to be safe in that respect. But I can guarantee that you as life are fine, and that it is possible and highly probable that if you pay attention to the many signs that you are becoming sensitized to, your life will already be improving. I wish you all good health and openness of heart and a great life now and a great life to come also here on this earth. Okay? But we must pay more attention to the way we treat each other, ourselves, and our planet also. To live with respect and with veneration to the Supreme Self. Thank you. I've spent quite a bit here to talk over this letter, but it triggered these kind of these thoughts in me. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Dear Mooji, what words of comfort can you share with those of us living this moment in solitude all by ourselves? I have no partner and kids at this moment, a huge desire to start a family, and this experience is emerging in me a huge fear of loneliness. How would you would love to hear your advice. Much love, Ligia, Ligia, Ligia. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it right. Okay, here we go. So again, what words of comfort can you share with those of us living this moment in solitude all by ourselves? Don't mislabel this opportunity and this experience. Living all by yourself at this moment, maybe you have never had the chance. I don't know how old you are. There are many, many people who have rarely spent any real time by themselves in their adult life. The life seems to be so demanding on our time and our attention that we were almost always, from waking up, our attention, our energies are pointed outward, externally, to things and people and doing and ideas and creativity and out. So this very powerful confinement has its goodness and its rewards also. Take it like it's giving you an opportunity to contemplate a little bit. Now, as human beings, actually, it should be instinct to us to be self-reflective, to turn your attention inside. Your eyes, physical eyes, were created to look at things on this side of the eyes. You see? But your heart and heart-mind is also there to be able to perceive internally, not internal to the body. I'm not talking when you close your eyes, you're looking at kidneys and lungs and liver and so on. When you close your eyes, you experience a sense of inner spaciousness and emptiness. But what tends to happen, our conditioning reacts against it. And we feel, oh, this is just, I can't bear it and so on. So I would say those who are forced to live in solitude at this moment, don't cling to the initial reaction from your mind that you are imprisoned. Actually, I would like you to change it and think you're being set free. You're being set free to spend a little time with your own self, to examine what really is here. Is what is really here when you're by yourself, is it something bad or is it something good? This you have to find out. Many people, because the mind, once it is so badly habituated and trained to cling to things, objects of desire and so on, when it's left by itself, it feels like bored. I don't know what to do, what's happening to me, and all kinds of nonsense depression and concern comes in. But this is false, it's not true. Actually, someone should be happiest by themselves. If you are happy by yourself, you will most likely be able to be happy with others. And happy with others because you don't need them. You're not depending on them. This is not a good thing for a human being, to be depending for your life, depending for your happiness on clinging to other people. First of all, you suffocate the natural space that each person should have with them, that helps them to have a very clear and very insightful mind, to be able to experience their own presence. If you are someone who's needy, you rob others of their own spaciousness, their own health. So use this time, Lygia, to just be quiet. You may not be able to do it though. And for this reason, I have made some videos. Yeah, if you look on the internet, you can press Mooji, and it will show you many videos. Some videos which are called guided meditations. One of them is called the Invitation to Freedom. There are other ones, simple ones, guided meditation. If you listen to these, so that's helping you, so you don't have to think for yourself. These words will guide you just by listening. You'll start to feel much more calm in yourself. It will take the attention off fear and stress and bring it much more deeply into the heart of peace. And like this, if you keep on listening and following, you'll find that whatever anxiety or stress or fear or worry is being replaced by a greater sense of peace, expanding peace and joy and silence. Would that not be a wonderful thing? I promise this, that if you put your attention, watch some videos that are contemplations. You don't have to watch only my video. You can watch whatever ones that touch you. I can only say about mine that they're already online, some of them. You can look out for them if you want. Now you continue. I have no partner and kids at this moment. Some people will go, lucky person. You know that there are people who will say, lucky woman. You have no children and partner. That's not something, not everyone in the world is going to have a partner and children. Not everyone is destined to do that, you know. But I'm not locking the door on you. I'm saying that it will come. It may come. If it is destined for you, it will come, even without you going to look for this. First, put your attention on what needs to be found now. God has leave these things aside for the moment so that you can begin to look much more deeply at your own self. Before you start to look at other people and interfere with their lives, begin to look into your own nature. Discover your own beauty. Not ego beauty, but the beauty of the silence and the peace that is possible for you to discover within your own self. If you find that first, I will put my stance in that and tell you that everything else after that you will find beautiful. But find first the kingdom of God within your own self, and other things will come in the same light like that, you see. So you say, I have no partner and kids at this moment. A huge desire to start a family, and this experience is making to come up in me a huge fear of loneliness. Don't waste your time, please. Don't waste your time. This is foolishness right now. You're not going to snap your finger and get to use. It's not some fruit machine you're going to put your money in and get family out like that. If one is meant to come, give time, these things may happen, but don't be waiting for this. There's greater things in life than hanging around waiting to be happy that somebody's going to fall in love with you and produce kids for you, or you're going to produce kids for them. I'm telling you, it's a fantasy, but it sucks the life from you. Be alive. You are life itself. You are life itself. You see? And so this thing, a huge desire to start a family, and this experience, it does come up for many people. For women particularly, it comes very, very, very strongly. As a time, a season when they feel, I have to have a child, I'm ready to have a child, and so on. But it's highly pumped up and hyped up by our own emotional sense of lacking, and that you're not important enough as you are, and you're only important if you can be a mother, and looking for new roles to play. You've written to me, and I'm going to tell you, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time about that. If it is, I don't know how old you are, but I have a sense you have time, okay, for that. But today you have time to begin to use the beautiful space that God has created around you. He's pushed out a lot of things from around you, a lot of clutter, so you can have a bit of space to put on finding out about you before you start to find out about other people. Not you personally. Your personal mind caused a lot of trouble. But in the heart of your mind is a heart mind, a mind which is in harmony with your heart. Put some energy on discovering this. Again, I am not speaking empty words. I'm not sending you out into the wilderness. They are quite supportive videos, books. Videos are quite pleasant, actually, easy to read. These days we have YouTube and things like that. You know, there was a time on this planet when these things were not here, isn't it? And you couldn't even find books. At best you have to find somebody who heard from somebody who heard from somebody else to tell you something. Now you can go to YouTube and so don't be lazy. You can find, and I'm telling you also, my own videos are directed to help you to find your own self. Free of charge, free of cost. There are other people also giving meditation, exercise and so on. Whichever one suits you, whatever pleases you, look for those and they will get you off the ground and out of this state. Actually, you have no need to be a sorrowful person. You have no need to be. I don't read anything here that says, oh, this person deserves to be unhappy. I don't see anything. I wonder why you should be sad at all. Sometimes we mislabel our experiences and the opportunities that life bring you, and your mind writes, oh, it's not going my way, and you get used to complaining and things like that. I'm not being personal to you now. I'm just being very general. You have a lot going for you. You have everything going for you, Lygia. All the very best. Love you, love you, love you. Be well and happy. Dear Mooji, please help me to be free. I am struggling. I will be 73 soon. I live alone. I have no worries and I'm at peace, but I'm not free. Okay? When I try to meditate, my mind wanders off to useless things. Listen, we all know this. Everyone who has tried to meditate, who has tried to go inside and to discover oneself, you find your mind start to create all kind of trouble and to distract your attention. It's almost as though there is something inside that doesn't want you to wake up to the truth of who you are. Okay? But if it's on some foolishness outside, the mind takes you to some fantasy or so on, it almost encourages you, go there, go and do this thing. But for self-discovery, it behaves like this in the beginning. In the beginning. I'm going to read over this part. There's a second part to your letter. Please help me to be free. I am struggling. I will be 73 soon. I live alone. I have no worries. I'm at peace, but I'm not free. When I try to meditate, my mind wanders off to useless things. Then why you say you have peace, you're at peace, you have no worries, but you are not free. So something feels I am not free. You use the word I quite a few times. I am struggling. I will be 73 soon. I live alone. I have no worries, but I am not free. I. All the usage of this term I that you've used is not relating to your true self yet. It is relating to your ego identity, as it is the case for almost everyone in the world. When you say I, you're speaking from a place of conditioning, from a strong identification with the body that you take to be yourself, your house. And of course, that is not freedom. That is not freedom. But where I get my clue is when you say, but I am not free. Something is aware even of the feeling I am not free. Right now, you believe these things. This I, the true I, is not 73 years old. It is actually timeless. I live alone. It is alone, but it is alone as everything, in fact. It is the universal consciousness. I am struggling. The real self does not struggle. I will tell you that. Please help me to be free. It is always free. It's so free it doesn't even know what free means. I have no worries. I'm at peace, but I'm not free. Okay. When I try to meditate, my mind wanders off to useless things. When I try to meditate. What is meditation? Meditation, what is the aim of meditation? The aim of meditation is to discover your true self. So even the very act of meditating is already watched from your true place. But what happens, you're not aware that it is your true place, and you are labeling it your person. It is not your person. Even when the mind wanders off to useless things, something is aware of that. What happens when the mind drifts off and goes to useless things, temporary things, momentary things, transient things? What is the trouble? The trouble is that you don't want the mind to be like that. And also you are still presently too strongly identified with your mind play. The mind cannot exist without the one who is aware of the mind. You are that which is aware of your mind. The mind cannot exist without you, but you can exist without this mind play. That is saying something also. So when I try to meditate, my mind wanders off to useless things. When I try to meditate, meaning you try to use your mind to do something, to find something, then it says, no, I want to go and play over there. I want to do this thing. This is because you don't as yet realize that the one who says, when I try to meditate, when I try to meditate, this I itself is based on personhood. The real I is consciousness. Consciousness doesn't need to try and meditate. In fact, the person is trying to meditate to reach the consciousness that you are. Reflect on this. I'll finish off your letter. Please, please help me to be free, to overcome my ego, to feel God's presence with every breath. Yours, long lost, deep, Brar. Her name is Brar. Please, please help me to be free. And this is what this very, sitting here, reading these letters, I endeavor to point you or to point out the misconceptions, the distractions that makes you feel unfree. Freedom is synonymous with your own natural state. But we rarely believe this because we have developed the false identification with the body-mind, and because the body-mind is never stable, it is always fluctuating. You are aware of this moving about of the body-mind. It cannot be kept still. That's its nature, it's moving about. You who observe it moving about, you are not moving about. That which is not moving about, but is aware of the sense of things coming and going, this one is the self. Focus your attention on that still and ever-present and silent self. Give more increasing attention to this stable, pure state of being, and you will lose the fascination or the habit to keep giving your attention to the mind so much. All the very best to you, Brar. Dear Mooji, through this situation right now, I am meditating many times through the day. My mind doesn't like that, and it goes crazy. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Can you please speak on this? Thank you, With much love, S.W. Shanti Kasha. Thank you. Through this situation right now, I suppose you are talking about the COVID-19 situation throughout the world at the moment. I am meditating many times through the day. Yes, this is what it does. These things, which brings up anxiety, fear for some people, concern, and so on, they actually, those who are drawn to self-discovery, drawn to God, drawn to truth, they are stimulated actually to go and look even more deeply. They're not just looking for superficial, distractions or some kind of entertainment or something. They're actually using this to search. They're compelled to search for that which is beyond all these things. And that is exactly what is happening in your case. You see? Now you say, my mind doesn't like that and it goes crazy. It's very insightful what is being said here. Why should your mind not like that you are meditating? What is wrong about meditating? When we are thinking many stupid things, the mind doesn't go crazy. It's crazy in another way. It's an acceptable crazy. But when we are turned inward with our attention to discover the truth, to discover a deeper reality of yourself, it's as though the mind, the psychological aspect of the mind, the ego mind does not like it. As I said before, it is as though we have within us a capacity to a force that goes for goodness, for growth, for evolving in a good way, in the proper way, in the healthy way, in the harmonious way, in the loving way, in the truthful way. You see, like that. And there's also a force, contrary in its function, that seems to want to keep our attention dedicated to worldly life, and selfish concern, egoic concern, and so on. This is the one you have to transcend or to overcome. You know, in the Bible, Jesus said, what point, he was saying to his disciples, trust in God. Trust also in me, he said, because I have overcome the world. He didn't say I have overpowered it. He says I have overcome, which means to transcend. What is to transcend? What is the world he's speaking about? This thing, the mind, the ego mind. It is the ego mind that doesn't like that you are meditating. It feels threatened by meditation, because when you meditate, you might find God, you might find truth, and the ego mind goes crazy because he's not true. That is how it is, you see. I've been speaking on this for many years. Now I find that so many people are discovering this. As you develop, as you mature in your spiritual journey of self-discovery, you are coming to experience these things. Crazy mind. Crazy mind. Crazy mind has been trying to pretend to be intelligent mind, sexy mind, beautiful mind, you see. But actually, and when you come to say, what about spiritual mind? He says, oh, never mind. Don't bother with this mind. He wants only the egoic recognition, you see. But these things are nonsense. They're not really even true. They're only believed, and it is the belief that gives them power. By themselves, they have no power. These thoughts have no power. To be special, to be, so and so, is very, very enticing, very captivating for the human attention, these things. But look, in a time of crisis, you are not interested in such a kind of, you start to see the silliness, the trivialness of the ego mind. Now you begin to search for something deeper, because your life feels threatened and your ego mind cannot help you. And this is why many times people turn to a higher power, higher than ego mind. And that's how it goes. So again, I am meditating many times through the day. My mind doesn't like that and it goes crazy. I feel like I'm losing my mind. What do you mean you're losing your mind? Sometimes it's a good thing to lose your mind, no? In the world, when we speak about losing your mind, people say you're going crazy. And you use the word crazy. You think losing your mind is you're going to be walking around going, No, no. Losing the mind in the real meaning means losing the rule of the psychological mind. It has been pushing you around, but because you have forgotten who you are, you think it's you are moving around, but you are being pushed around this way and that way. You're rarely stable in your life, and because of this, somehow, but we still by habit identify with it. But at a time like this, when you've decided to turn your attention more deeper behind the stage, behind the curtains of the mind, it's as though some uneasiness comes. It's that the mind is rebelling. It is kind of reacting, you see. Like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to leave me. We belong together. Who is it speaking to? Well, I'll tell you, it is speaking to the idea you have of who you are and not to your true self. That's what I have to say about it. So I feel like I'm losing my mind. Can you please speak on this? It is the mind itself that behaves as though it's going crazy. You are not going to go crazy. In fact, you're becoming sane. Not insane, sane. Meaning anyone who is discovering the truth of themselves is waking up out of a dream where they're living only on very small percentage of their potential, of their possibilities. So you are doing the right thing, Shantikasha. You are doing the right thing. You say, through this situation right now, situation mean the world situation, many people seem to be panicking, not everybody, I correct it. Many people seem to be panicking, they're disturbed, they're agitated, they're anxious, they don't know what to do with themselves. You say, I am meditating many times through the day. That is very good. I wish I could hear from you, what is your meditation about? What is the purpose of your meditation? Here, we don't speak so much about just meditation because it's a very broad word. I speak more about self-inquiry, meaning to inquire into the true nature of yourself. And I cannot go through that right now. I have a lot of letters to answer. But if you listen to my videos and my talks, you will, of course, be getting more accustomed, more comfortable, more deep into your own journey of self-discovery, which is the most wonderful thing. And when you discover yourself authentically, not just ego, because the ego also pretends to be looking for the self, but really it is not looking, you see? But if you are genuinely, earnestly looking for the truth, this is why your mind is reacting. It's like, don't go there. It's trying to distract your attention, you see? To go out, let's go out, let's go to the movie, let's go have pizza, let's go and watch this show. But please don't turn inside, because if you turn inside, I feel threatened, I don't like it. And if you're used to listening to your mind's whinging, then somehow you are going to give in to it. But after a while, you're going to get tired of giving in to the mind's subtle weaknesses and cunningness. So my encouragement is that you continue to do your meditation, look up self-inquiry, look at some of the talks that we have, and see if you can relate to them. So all the very best to you, Shantikasha. Lots of love to you. Very good. Dear Master Mooji, I turn 70 years old on March the 25th. What if my purpose is to be severely ill and be an example of courage under fire, to show others how to die with gratitude, dignity, and grace? Or the opposite, To live, to tell. How does one know which is their path? Fight to live or lay down their arms? I whisper your name every night so I get some sleep. Thank God you are here with us. Your devotee, Rosetta. Thank you, Rosetta. I'm going to read your letter again. I turned 70 years old on March the 25th. What if my purpose, meaning purpose in life, is to be severely ill and be an example of courage under fire? What it means, courage under fire. That if we take the present situation that many people are worried about in life today, like the possibility of contracting some disease and perhaps losing one's life. So you say, what if my purpose is to get severely ill and be an example of courage under fire, so that where other people are crumbling, it may seem, you remain courageous? Is that your purpose in life? And to show others how to die with gratitude, with dignity and grace. Well, right now, with the panic in the world, nobody's going to pay attention to your dying. Okay? Nobody's going to pay attention. The dying is becoming commonplace. In fact, it has always been commonplace, but it's everywhere present. Everybody's talking about it, you know? And so it's on everybody's mind. People don't care about the dying dignified or with grace and gratitude. They just want to live. They don't want to die. So it doesn't matter if you die the most wonderful, courageous death. Most people, it's happening so fast nobody will take notice. Or the opposite. Is it my purpose to live and to tell? How does one know which is their path? Fight to live? Must we fight to preserve our life? How are you going to do that? How can you fight to live? Or to lay down their arms mean to surrender to life? I would say fight to live if what you are living for is truth, not just biological life, of course, and I think you know that. Or lay down their arms. Lay down their arms means surrender. Surrender means stop fighting a battle which you are meant to just relax and surrender. Not surrender to an enemy. Surrender to God. Surrender to truth. Surrender to existence. To surrender to your own inmost being. And that is courage. That is real dignity. That is real, what you use the word gratitude, if you are surrendering to your true source. And if you're fighting, and you're fighting against the truth, or you're fighting for the truth. For truth, you need not fight. You only need to discover. As you are discovering, it says the truth that sets you free. So we don't have to fight. Enough fighting. So have I covered what you have asked? What if my purpose is to be severely ill and be an example of courage under fire, to show others how to die with gratitude, dignity, and grace? I would not be concerned about that. I would be more wanting to tell you, you cannot die, Rosetta, and you will not die. Life cannot die, and death cannot live. Death is dead, life lives. So when we know that beyond merely what you may call nice words, but you know it experientially in your heart, then fear will go. Concern may come, but fear, it will not go to the extent of fear, because you also surrendered to your life. You have offered up your existence to existence. You have offered yourself to your own source. What a wonderful, that is the example. That is the example, and it will not go amiss also. So a wonderful letter in the sense that you gave me an opportunity to share something. And I see from your picture how radiant and joyful yourself are. And then you say, I whisper your name every night so I get some sleep. Thank God you are here with us, your devotee Rosetta. Wonderful. I love you. All the very best. Wonderful. So, for now, I would like to say thank you for your patience and hope you have benefited or learned something or become much more relaxed in your being, having listened to today's responses to the letters that have come in. I will have another session in a little bit. I'll take a little break now, and I'll come back and I'll follow up with the second part. Thank you so much.